So you want to know how to run faster and how to become a faster athlete in general. And this could be applicable for all the kids in high school, college, and post-collegiate. And there's not a magic sauce, magic workout, magic training that you can do overnight to become a professional athlete. But there are some steps that you can take to help you become that better athlete, that better runner. And so here are some of the tips and tricks that I feel like that helped me become a better athlete and the better runner and the better person in general. And so I want to tell you guys a little bit about myself, I guess, in high school, of my high school progression, as well as my collegiate progression. And now I'm trying to make it as a professional athlete. For those of you that are new to the channel, my name is Tom Cheney. I am a marathoner now. At one point in my life, I did run track. I ran 28:40 for the 10K. I ran 13:50 for the 5K. And so I'm a decent runner. I've also ran 4:08 for the mile after altitude conversion. And so I'm not a scrub. I'm not a complete scrub. And so you can take some of these tips and tricks and apply it to your running to help you become a better overall distance runner. And I think they're just overlooked. They're not crazy tricks or tips that are just like magical, but I think they just get overlooked, and a lot of people just don't even look at it twice and realize how important these things are. My background in high school is I went to Desert Vista High School. I started running my freshman year in high school. My freshman year in high school, I ran 4:38 for the mile, I think 10:40 or 10:15 the 2 miles, somewhere in that range. And in 1 year, I went from that to my sophomore year in high school, where I ran 4:21 for the mile, and I ran, I think, 9:34, 36, somewhere between 9:30 and 9:35 for the 3200. And so how did I improve that much in 1 year? And it's similar to what I did in college, where my freshman year as a true freshman, I ran 34 minutes for the 10K. I think that one I was just kind of ambitious and went out crazy hard in the race and just died. And then my sophomore year, I was like a redshirt sophomore, so it's 2 years in between those two. I ended up running 29, 36, 38, something like that in the 10K. And then a year later, I dropped my PR by another minute. I ran 28:44 my junior year in college, and I decided to forego the rest of my eligibility to just pursue marathon training, and because 2024 was the year of the marathons. And so yeah, I didn't finish my full college eligibility. I want to share with you guys some of the things that helped me become the better distance runner, and I feel like they're just a little overlooked, and I think they're just very important. They're not secrets, they're not tricks, they're not anything. They're just important, and they just need to be emphasized and shared a little bit. Okay, the first thing I think that gets overlooked, sorry, I don't know, I'm standing up, I'm kind of a little passionate about it. The first thing that gets overlooked is consistency. Between my freshman year in high school to my sophomore year in high school, what changed is my determination of how good I wanted to be. And how did I implement some of those changes? How did I change? How was I consistent when it comes to this? My freshman year in high school, like if you're a freshman, sophomore year in high school, you don't really have like rides, practice. You're dependent on your parents. And so whatever your parents can offer you, that's what you can do. And so my freshman year, I kind of didn't care. And so when my parents couldn't give me a ride to practice, I just like, oh, I can't go to practice, whatever. Like, so I missed probably 50% of the practices, cross-country practices. My sophomore year in high school, I took it into my own hands and I biked to practice. If you're from Arizona or anywhere that's hot, you like Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, maybe California, you know how hot it gets. And so we had 5 a.m. practice. And so I would wake up at 4 a.m. and I would bike my butt to practice every single day. And so I woke up at 4 a.m., made my lunch and stuff like that. And so I would head to school. And so it was a 20-minute bike ride to school. And so I was getting extra cross training that way. And I made it my mission and my goal to not miss a single day of practice. And so yeah, that's like all I had to do was show up. If you keep showing up, you'll eventually see success. And so for me, it was just, yeah, all summer I showed up to practice and didn't make an excuse, didn't make up excuses of why I'm not there. I just got out there and biked. Luckily, I had an accountability partner, one of my friends to this day, that's my really good friend, that we would meet like a mile from both of our houses. Like we'd meet like at a halfway point of the ride to school, and so we'd bike together. And so that was like my accountability partner. So having somebody like that, having somebody that's accountable, that can keep you accountable to not missing a single day, will help you go a long way in training. So the second thing that gets overlooked in my book is recovery. And so A lot of people focus a lot on workouts, focus on long runs, the biggest thing when it comes to training is being able to absorb the training and recovering. And these three things, I feel like I call them the three amigos, you know, and they're very important: nutrition, hydration, and sleep. Sleep being the biggest, most important one. And this comes in very handy. My final year in college, I wanted to, well, not my final year, my junior year in college, I wanted to be great. I wanted to make the national championships. If you know about college running, NCAAs, making track nationals is one of the hardest things. Regionals is a little easier, but making track nationals is like the hardest thing. And so I sat down with my coach and tried to figure out what I had to change, what I had to do to achieve that. In cross country season, I was one of the first people out.
Even though I died and lost 6 spots in the last
track.
K, but that's all right.
Cross, he didn't make it. He's not that good. Just wait out for the track though. Man is easily making that regionals.
Emotional damage.
Cross country nationals is one of the hardest things to make. And so cross country season, I was really heartbroken because I was one of the first few people out for making the national championship. And so that was one of my big goals going into college, is that I wanted to make nationals in cross country. I wanted to make nationals in track. And that was like my senior year goals, you know? And so I missed my cross country one. And so I was just like really heartbroken. And so I was like, well, December came around, I sat down with my coach and we laid out a plan of like, how am I going to achieve my outdoor track goals? How am I going to make nationals? And so we decided to ultimately that I need to train harder, but at the same time recover harder. And so I quit my job.
Wow. Currently, I'm 5 miles just shake out, post 3K, and wow. Just wow. I knew I wanted to win both. Just, I didn't realize how much it meant to me. Like, it's not the win. It's just, I don't know how disciplined and just dedicated I was to this one goal of just being a conference champ. Nonetheless, just competing. I wanted to compete. I wanted to win at the bigger stage. And this is just the start of just doing that. So
funds saved up, and so I work all summer to be able to afford life and stuff like that. That's how I afforded college. Most of college I was on a partial scholarship, so I had my tuition covered and stuff like that. But like I still had to pay rent, I still had to pay all the other, I had a lot of other expenses. But I would work in the summertime to be able to do that. But I would still work a little bit here and there. But once January arrived, between the months of January and I think June, I didn't work a single day. Like I took the whole 6 months off and I was like a monk. I did the exact same thing. I had the exact same routine and I felt like that was gonna help me succeed the best. And so every single day I woke up, went to practice, ran, came home, took a nap, went to class, and then came back home, did my double, and then ate dinner and went to bed. I was literally repeating that exact same routine for 6 months. I was so consistent. My mileage was the consistentest it's ever been. My recovery, I was recovering hard, sleeping hard. I was eating well. I was doing everything that I could do to succeed. For that 6 months, I was locked in and I was heartbroken. I ran 28:40 from the slow heat at Stanford, and I was heartbroken when I ran that. Like it was almost a minute PR. Before that, my PR was like 29:38, and so I almost PR by a minute, but I was still heartbroken because I had my heart set on running 28:20 and being ranked in the top 12 of my region to be able to be like, all right, like I deserve to be there. And so, yeah, that's the next thing we're gonna talk about is deserving to be there and the mindset. You have to believe. You have to believe you belong. You have to believe that you will achieve your goals. It's goal setting. You have to set your goals and believe that you can achieve those goals. And that's one of the most important things is goal setting. In high school, my team would sit down every single year with our coach and we would set some goals. What we wanted to achieve as a team, what we wanted to achieve as individuals.
Those are the school records. I'm not on there anymore. I used to be on there. 4:14, 9:10. I used to be the previous school record holder. I used to be that guy.
And ultimately the biggest goal was a team goal. But if you could achieve your individual goal, that individual goal led us to the team goal, you know? And so the biggest accomplishment my high school team ever did is we never lost state in cross country. Now as a professional, now as trying to make it as a professional, I also kind of have those mindsets shifts here and there and having the imposter syndrome of do I belong here? Do I belong to being here? And so it's tough, believing that you belong in there. And if you do the right training and if you set certain goals, you will eventually feel like you belong in there. You need to be setting goals of what you want to achieve now, what you want to achieve next month, what you want to achieve. It doesn't have to be monthly goals. It could be yearly goals. What's your 1 year plan? What's your 2 year plan? What's your 3 year plan? And what's your 4 year plan? And I feel like I do a really good job. I don't know if you can see on the board. I didn't achieve my 2024 goal, and I'm like really heartbroken about it. But at the same time, it was a lofty, ambitious goal. I got really close to it a few times. It was just I put a number behind my performance, and I think I should have been setting process goals of like, if I do this, then I'll be happy with this performance and this outcome. And I just set a time goal, and it just probably wasn't the right route to go. Why is goal setting so important? Well, goal setting is important because it gives you direction, motivation, and a sense of purpose for those days you wake up and you feel like you have nothing to do, or you don't know what route to go. And if you wake up and one day you just don't want to do anything. And I don't want to say the motivation part, because a lot of people ask me the question of like, hey Hobbs, like what keeps you motivated? What keeps you keep going? Even knowing that you're not a professional athlete, you have to wake up and go to work, you have to wake up and run, you have to do this and that. I hate the word motivation, and I'm not motivated to run. I'm not motivated to go to work. I'm not motivated to do all these most days. Like 90% of the time, I'm not motivated. It just, there's a difference. There's motivation and there's discipline. And if you're disciplined and have a set goal, those will drive you to get out of bed, get outside when it's cold. And if any of you have seen the Bandit documentary, you probably saw the quote where I said, just run, come to work, and then run again. Completely okay with that. I know what it takes to be a good runner. Just having a good discipline. Like on most days, like I have absolutely zero motivation to get up and run. And like a lot of people talk about being motivated and then like that. I have absolute zero motivation. Just being disciplined of like what I need to do, and I know what I have to do. Motivation is stupid. Like motivation is useless because you have to be disciplined enough to want it. You have to be disciplined enough to know what you have to do. Like I know what I have to do to achieve the goals that I want to achieve. I set very lofty goals that I want to achieve, and for me to be able to achieve those lofty goals, I can't. Like I won't be motivated every single day to go want to do those things, you know? But in summary, these are the most important things. Be consistent in everything you do. Life, running, work, weightlifting. This can be applied to anything. It doesn't just have to be applied to running. You have to be disciplined enough to do all of this. You don't have to be motivated. Motivation is stupid. But yeah, and the second thing being burnouts are a thing, and so you need to be recovering from either work, life, running. This could be applied to everyday life as well. And the third thing is you gotta be setting goals even in your daily life. It doesn't have to be running related again. It could be anything. Goal setting is important every aspect of your life. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in a future video. I hope you guys enjoyed this.